Hello, Larry. Good. It's good. A little warm, but it's good. Pardon? No. Talk to him.
Welcome to the conferencing service. Please enter your access code followed by the pound. This menu will repeat.
Is 6:01 p.m. I call the meeting of the Apache Junction Public Arts Commission to order. We are meeting at the City Council Chambers at 300 East Superstition Boulevard, Apache Junction, Arizona. This is August 10th, 2020. At this time, or do we need to check everyone in?
The pledge.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if we, okay.
We did that, and then we did the pledge of allegiance.
Okay, at this time, let's do pledge of allegiance. Right. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Chair, can you give us a second to get this recorded right again?
Absolutely. Right. May we have the roll call, please?
Okay, so we'll do the roll call. Chair Vice. Can't hear me. There we go. We're doing the roll call. Chairman Bice,
Present.
Commissioner Coe, Commissioner Coe, I heard you earlier. Ann Coe, are you present? Commissioner Ham,
Present.
Commissioner Klett,
Present.
Commissioner Nicholas, Vice Chair Steinberger,
Present.
Commissioner Coe, one more time, are you there? Okay, Madam, we have a quorum.
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Okay. Approval of agenda. I need a motion to approve the August 10th, 2020 agenda as presented.
We approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Need a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Thank you. May we have the roll call, please?
Chairman Bice.
Yes.
Commissioner Coe. Not working. Commissioner Ham.
Yes.
Commissioner Klett.
Yes.
Commissioner Nicholas.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberger.
Yes.
And can I clarify who made the second? Who was it that made the second?
I believe it was me, Commissioner Bies.
Okay. All right, thank you. All in favor, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. We've all had a chance to review the minutes from the July 13th, 2020 meeting. Are there any questions or additions? Okay. If not, may I have a motion to approve the minutes from that meeting?
A motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting.
Thank you. I need a second.
I second it, Gretchen.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Coe. Commissioner Ham.
Yes.
Commissioner Klett.
Yes.
Commissioner Nicholas. Vice Chair Steinberger.
Yes.
And Chair Bice.
Yes.
The vote is 4 with 1 abstention and 1 not voting.
Thank you. Our agenda item 6, the announcement of artwork. Cindy, would you like to discuss the attachments?
Absolutely, Madam Chair.
Thanks.
We received a few links from a few of the commissioners. I'm going to click on the links and give the commissioners an opportunity to talk about the link and kind of expand on where they were coming from. I think the first one is the Facebook video, and I'm not sure which one of the commissioners shared it.
There was was it Gretchen?
I might have, but I can't see it yet. This is Gretchen.
Okay.
So the remainder of the video is pretty similar. They are sidewalk or wall murals that really share part of the built environment to build part of that mural. So in this case, it's the stripe in the sidewalk and things like that. I think the next two attachments, I think Mr. Commissioner Bies provided the links.
Right. So, not sure which one y'all are looking at, but
So-
the first one on the packet is the Harlingen Mural Walk.
Yes.
That's the one that we have up
Correct.
right now. Yep.
Perfect. So these are just two examples of kind of public art that I kind of was thinking about after our last meeting, and kind of in tandem with our agenda items regarding generation of a map and public art around AJ. So this first example is of the Harlingen Mural Walk, is a series of murals through downtown Harlingen. Harlingen is a smaller town, I guess similar in size, a little, maybe a little bit bigger than AJ, down in South Texas, and they have commissioned a series of murals and established a walking path and an order through their downtown that winter visitors there can use as an opportunity or a path to explore downtown, as well as visitors coming through. So with the generation of our art map, I thought this would tie in pretty well. If it's something that we would want to consider, something that may be available to us given the resources that are currently allocated and that we're discovering as we identify the points of interest in Apache Junction.
I want to tell everybody I'm back. This is Ann Coe.
Thank you.
Great. And then, Ryan, I think you had the guitar exhibit as well.
Correct. Yeah. So the next image you're seeing is should be a 3x3 kind of grid of a series of guitar sculptures that are located in Austin, Texas. And what generated the thought for this example of public art was it's an iterative acquisition, right? So each piece isn't necessarily too extravagant on its own, but you're creating a kind of a medium for artist expression that can then be located at points of interest around town again. And then you can also, what Austin has done with these as well is use them to generate interest at city events, and then ultimately auctions them off as a way to kind of pay for the art itself after its useful life, generating interest. So I just thought those were two kind of apropos examples of public art that seem to be potential options for a path forward as we start getting farther into the work plan and developing our ideas for the first pieces of art or kind of interjections into AJ for the Public Arts Committee.
Great. Thank you, Chair Bice.
Thank you. Anything else? That's it? Okay. I don't see any, we're not having a public hearing today, so I'm going to close agenda item number 7 and move on to old business.
So the next item on the agenda is the public art work plan that we discussed. Last time that we had this meeting, we went over Heather's plan, rough draft 1.0, and this is a rough draft 2.0. And we spoke briefly about that plan at our last meeting, and we discovered that there was quite of information that was kind of duplicates, duplicate action item and tasks that said that had the intent to do the same thing, but it was just worded a little bit differently.
Right.
And then Heather's plan had about 5 objectives. So we narrowed it down to about 4 objectives and reorganized the plan. We moved things around. The timelines, dates, and status are still being worked on, but we'll have a better direction after tonight. Really, the activities, the person responsible, and the tools or techniques, and really the notes are where they're supposed to be. So we'll briefly go through the work plan tonight. I've simplified it quite a bit. So now it's really 4 big objectives and then 16 steps. The last thing I wanted to do is create really a work plan that was too lengthy, and we were just spending too much time really just administering the work plan rather than really getting things done. So now we have 16 steps. Feel free to speak freely. If you have any questions, interrupt at any time. If you have any suggestions, those would be helpful as well. This is a working document. Our first one is, of course, adopt the work plan. Number 2 is conduct the inventory that we will speak briefly about in our next discussion item right after this item. Create a web page. We've already created a web page. It's really It's this here. And it's really the beginning of the web page. So we have some informational items on here, including the ordinances and the fees associated to the public art. So that is done.
Sydney, could you explain, go back, or show, because some people on the phone aren't going to be able to see where this is. Can you just explain the link and how to get to this page?
Yes, absolutely. So the link is the actual link is ajcity.net/984/public-art-commission. But it's easier really found if you just Google Apache Junction Public Art, and it'll be one of the first links that comes up. And then you could kind of save that to your browser, and you could find it from there. Also, we'll go back to the work plan. We have one of the items on the work plan is mapping of public art. We spoke about that at our last meeting as well. GIS has already created the framework since our last meeting, and now is just waiting for the actual information. So the pictures that are going in there and the inventory that we're going to be gathering going forward. So we found a successful example of one of the municipalities, and it's Chandler. And we were going to talk about having an example at this meeting, and here we are. Our viewer will be placed on our public arts page somewhere on here, either a link or a screenshot that will take you to this map. And what it does is it'll take you to the city, and then you'll be able to scroll through the art through this web page, and it'll give you kind of information regarding the art and its location. So that's the idea on how we're going to conduct our inventory and how it's going to be displayed. So this is Chandler's, and ours will look very similar. They have a very efficient viewer.
Yeah, it's very user-friendly.
It's very user-friendly, and it's also easy to manage on the back end.
Good.
Yep.
Is that link, sorry, I didn't see the link as part of the agenda. Can it be distributed?
Absolutely. Of course, yeah. It'll be emailed after the meeting tonight. Yep. And then if you'd like to look at it immediately, you could just type in City of Chandler Public Arts Viewer, and you'd be able to find it on Google right away if you don't want to wait until the end of the meeting. The public art pamphlet is really the developer brochure that Heather already drafted. So we'll be going over that briefly at our next item. We also have establish a priority project list. The idea behind this was to create really a strategic list of art projects within this community and where they should be located. So a few commissioners, for example, tonight have given us good framework, some ideas, some examples they like that they've seen in other communities. This is kind of a little bit more strategic. We're going to have to sit down and take some time and figure out where those art should be placed and some parameters around that. Create an artist database. This is going to be kind of ongoing. The idea behind this is kind of have an open really door for artists to contact the city, email their portfolios to the city staff, and then when funds become available, then we may call on their services. And then we have create a donation policy, create a draft request for proposal. We have one already. It's really, we use a template here at the city, and it's just really about tweaking the language. So that should be pretty simple as well. So objective number 2 is assess and engage stakeholders, create a community involvement and marketing plan. So there's a few ways that we're going to engage the public when it comes to public art is, of course, one through our general city website. Number 2 is our art webpage that we just went over. that will include that mapping viewer, and then, of course, we'll display any new art that comes to the city via social media. So, objective number 3 is design long-term goals and objectives. So, part of that is establishing art design and principles. Going into a little bit of detail, perhaps when we get to the item sometime in the future, we're thinking about history, geography, legacy, perhaps some aspirational elements for the community, and this would be a great time to get community input. Design and art restoration and maintenance program. It's exactly what it sounds like. We're probably going to do an inventory yearly on the condition of these art and structures or murals or whatever they have, and then if needed, we'll allocate funds if they need any maintenance.
So does the city already, with the artwork that's already up, the few pieces, who's authorized and who maintains them? What organization currently does that?
So the art,
Just the city, yeah, the Kachina and
the city currently maintains those items. Yeah, same thing with the murals at the Flatiron Park. Yep.
But the city doesn't have a formal maintenance program set up.
okay.
So the Kachina is maybe a year old, something like that, maybe a little bit longer, so it's been installed. But if there's minor maintenance, then Park and Rec has been doing it.
Okay.
So, but this is more of kind of putting some structure around that for future pieces of art.
Okay, thanks.
And then objective number 4 is manage and maintain the public art program, and that it's pretty simple. It's update the work plan yearly, go over the monthly financial report, implement and maintain the insurance verification program, and then maintain the marketing of public art in AJ. That's through our website, that's through our map viewer, working with the chamber, working with ED, and really getting the word out. It's just the maintenance of the program. By our next meeting, first, does anybody have any questions or suggestions about the work plan? Okay, so by our next meeting, we're going to have updated timelines and statuses. The idea was just to reorganize Heather's draft and kind of really simplify it, and then have specific dates for those action items, the activities and tasks there.
Okay.
Any questions?
So, I mean, just in regards to that, where it says ongoing, for example, create artist database, would it be appropriate for commissioners to begin compiling those lists and sharing them with the city, or recommendations if there are artists that we want to start including in that database?
Absolutely. Feel free to email that information to staff, and we'll include that. The idea is to have really a master inventory or Excel file, which will be organized by medium. People that do murals, people that do sculptures, people that do other art, other mediums, and have it organized that way.
And we'll have to find a way to make sure it's updated yearly at least. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be a working document.
This is Commissioner Ham. I have a question on creating the artist database. So, as commissioners, should we go to like the local community colleges and ask their art departments if they can put a notice out to AJ residents that we're building this database, or is that against the rules?
Sorry, Commissioner Ham, can you say that one more time? I had a hard time hearing you.
So my question is, should we, as commissioners, should we go to like the local community college for Central Arizona colleges and Mesa Community College Red Mountain campus and reach out to their art departments and the art students to see if there's any residents in AJ that may want to be part of this database.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a great idea. Of course.
Right. Then if we do
I
that,
have
we're
a
gonna-
question. This is Ann Coe.
all right.
We're not limiting the artists to artists in Apache Junction, are we?
We're not, no.
Okay.
May I make a suggestion? I would think that someone from the city, perhaps, could draw up some kind of a press release or some kind of a call to artists that could be forwarded to all the commission members, and we could send it out to the different art leagues in the state of Arizona, the Gilbert Visual Arts League, the Mesa Arts League, the Arizona Artists Guild, because they will forward that on to their members, and I think we have a better chance of getting a good result if we send it out to all those organizations. But I'd like to see something uniform that's available to send out to all those organizations.
Absolutely. Commissioner Nicholas, I'll get with the Public Information Officer and we'll draft a press release. That could be shared with the commission.
Agree. Excuse me, this is Ann Coe again. I agree. I have artist friends all over, and I will just send it to them as well. And we should get a very good list in what they do, what kind of art they make.
Absolutely. Staff is in agreement. We will draft that press release and make it available to the commission.
Thank you.
This is Vice Chair Steinberger. I do have a question regarding that. We have something in our wording that I'm going to have to go back and look at that talked about only using professionals who've already displayed public art and been paid for it. So I need to go find that wording so we can not have it conflict with this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, we need to put that in the press release for sure.
Yeah. The specifics of the press release will either include a link or the press release will be specific.
I just want to make sure that our wording is not going to conflict with being able to have
Right.
students
Yeah.
or anybody else be able to
It will
apply,
definitely
you
not
know.
contradict any of the ordinances that we have adopted thus far.
Okay.
This is Gretchen. I have a question. Did we define what a professional artist was, or was that something that we were still working on as part of the plan?
I don't think that we've developed the verbiage on that specifically yet. That was something we were going to work on.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
Anyone else?
So is that for, ready to move on to new?
Yeah, we're going to move on to new business.
Okay,
Yep.
we're going to move on to new business, item agenda number 9.
So we've already really jumped ahead through the work plan and went over the website and GIS viewers. So we're going to go over the presentation and discussion on inventory forms and maps that were included in the agenda as links. So something Heather worked on before she left was creating this map with GIS and breaking it down into 7 zones. We'll go through those real briefly here. Page 1 in front of you kind of has the general parameters of those zones, and then the remainder of the pages break down those geographical areas a little bit more specifically. So the idea tonight is to assign these zones to the commission. And it's kind of, if anyone has a preference on what zone they want, really this is kind of the time to volunteer. If not, probably by this week, staff will send out those zones out to the commission. And hopefully, we'll try to have an inventory by the next 30 days, by our next meeting. We'll see how that goes. If you guys need more time, then we'll probably extend it out to another meeting. But I wanted to get this in front of you tonight. The other items that we discussed at our last meeting is creating a public art inventory form. So when you're out in the field, we could have a uniform gathering of information, collection of information. So here we have name of the art, name of the artist, media of art and materials, date of installation, and of course, all this information probably isn't readily available to you. It's really filling out as much as possible. Location, example is either having a specific address or having the general cross streets. So, example, northeast corner of Idaho and Superstition Boulevard, and then the photograph that to be included as an attachment. So we can include that information in the public art viewer. So we have 6 commissioners right now. The format of that picture should say the art zone, and then number 1, and then underscore item number 1, or item number 2, item number 3, so they don't get mixed up within the email. So pretty simple. There's about 15 spaces. I don't think we'll probably need more than that per zone. If so, feel free to contact me, and I'll send you another sheet with an updated number scheme.
Can you repeat that naming convention again?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually already on the public art inventory form. So if you have your computer in front of you, it's one of the, you could open up one of the links, and if you look at item number 1 or any of the items, it'll say art zone number. Right now it says X, but it would be whatever art zone that is assigned to you or that you volunteer, and then underscore item number 1, for example.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And then the developer brochure is really a tool for staff and the commission. It's really a cheat sheet that we'll hand out to the developers. It'll go over the fees. It tells you what art shall be, what it may be. So sculpture, mural, drawing, painting, photos, mosaics, example, and then what it's not. So architectural elements or structural parts of a building or other structure, features such as grates, shade screens, street lights, benches, signs, bike racks. So really it's just all the information from the ordinance that you guys adopted last year. So it's really a cheat sheet without really referring to the ordinance specifically. Any questions on that item tonight?
No.
I had a question on the inventory forms.
Uh-huh.
So on Chandler, they'll have like a little description of the art. So I'm wondering on the inventory form, it's rather than just if you go back to the inventory form. So name of the artist, name of the art, name of the artist, media, date of installation. I'm wondering if there should be some other descriptor that would describe, I guess I was kind of just looking at what Chandler did. Is there, 30 words, some sort of descriptor in addition to just kind of the who, what, why, where, whatever? I guess I don't know if the commissioners feel that you then would be able to add to it as to, I'm not your opinion of the art, of course, but kind of explain what the art is, I suppose, something like that.
We talked about this last time, and from my understanding, it was also that we were going to present this, and then the city was going to go out and then do any additional as well. So
exactly.
maybe between the
That's
two
right.
of our groups, we can come up with something.
Yeah, so the idea,
A description.
really the description to most of the art pieces that are found in other viewers is kind of the historical context or the context of how it fits in the city. There is for example, there is an art piece in Queen Creek that has some railroad ties, and it speaks to its location on Rittenhouse Road. and how that was, a major draw there. So really, that's what the description portion of that is. So I will most likely modify this inventory form. We'll have the description. If you don't have it, we'll try to find that, kind of that background.
It would help us, or as we put this together, if there is some sort of descriptor, we can always go back out and check it,
Perfect.
but if you happen to know the origin of it, I think it helps maybe speed the process up of some.
Can we revisit the format that it has to be, that the title of the photograph has to be? Because I'm thinking of three-dimensional works that may have additional photographs. I mean, if it's a three-dimensional piece, you're going to want 2 or 3 photographs of it, not just one. You're thinking, two-dimensional, but there's got to be a way to send additional photographs along with that one particular description.
So you could say item 1, and you could say 1A, 1B, 1C, where
Yeah.
if you wanted to take as many pictures as you want, as long as you know it's item 1. I mean, once we see it, we know it's different than item 2, but you could go on and just say 1A, B, C, D, if you want to take more pictures of the one piece.
Any other comments or questions, suggestions?
Yes, this is Commissioner Ham. My question is with the map here. I'm noticing that there's like in Zone 1 and Zone 5, there's a bunch of dotted lines within the mapping. Is this to note it, like mark gated communities or communities that aren't technically public?
So those dotted lines, and I apologize, I know you can't see this, Commissioner, but for the commissioners that are here in person, those are county islands. So those will not be included in our mapping efforts. Anyone else?
Nothing. Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 10, information and reports. Do any board members have any comments on this agenda item or information and reports they'd like to present?
I guess really quickly, if we can, before we move on, you had mentioned that if there was anyone who had a particular segment that they wanted to map, is there anyone on the commission who has a preference before we move on?
I live right in Section 3, and I'm around there walking my donkeys anyway. So that might work for me. This is Gretchen.
And that's along Old West Highway, Gretchen?
Yes. Here, wait, let me get to the map. I believe it includes
It is, yes.
Tomahawk, Cortez, and Goldfield.
Okay, so we'll sign up
And it
Gretchen
goes
for
all the
section
way
number
over to
3.
St. Marcos.
You can sign me up for 6. That's where I live.
Okay.
That's why I live in 5.
This is Commissioner Ham. I live in 1, so I'll be willing to take 1 if nobody else wants that one.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Coe. I'm interested, I'm not in the valley now, let's get that clear, but I'm interested in the roundabout that is on 88 in front of the county building. That's a major view area
So
for
Commissioner Code, that's section really number 5, and I think Vice Chair Steinberger.
It borders on 4, though.
Yeah, but it also borders on 4. Do you have the map in front of you, Commissioner Coe?
No, I
Oh.
don't.
Okay, so section number 4 is really the northern part of the city. It is from McKellips to Superstition, Meridian to the roundabout.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you're out, I know that if you're going to be out of the valley for a while, let me know, and I can probably assist with helping look at whichever segment you prefer, if you're going to be if you'll be out of town for a little while.
Yes, I will be out of town until there's a vaccination or it snows here. So I'm going to try to get to the next meeting if I can. And get all my package information.
Okay, well, if that's the case, it sounds like it's just segments 2 and 4 that are remaining. So why don't Ann and I work out how we'll survey those 2 segments?
Great, thank you.
Yes, that sounds good, thank you.
Sounds good.
Okay, so just to go over that section list again. Section number 1 is Commissioner Ham. Commissioner Coe and Chair Byes is 2 and 4. Section number 3 is Gretchen. Section number 6 is Commissioner Nicholas. Section number 5 is Steinberger. Okay, great.
That's pretty easy, Jen. Okay. Good job, guys. All right. Agenda item number 10, information and reports. So again, do any board members have any comments or information or reports they'd like to present this evening?
I just had a thought back to the guitar things that Ryan showed, and this is Gretchen, is that I know they have those synthetic horses and different animal shapes, and maybe we could find some donkey ones, because I'm so impartial, so my bias is showing. But they could be the Lost Dutchman donkey instead of guitars. Just an idea.
Yeah, and I'll just clarify my intent with that example was absolutely not to limit us to a form or a medium necessarily, but more conceptually as to think of it as a series of artwork that generates interest and kind of aligns with the culture of Apache Junction.
Perfect, Ryan. Thanks for that clarification, then. We can move on.
All right. Director's report. Sydney?
Just one item. Some of you may know that one of our commissioners, James Jackson, passed away in the last few weeks, and very unfortunate, sad for the family and the community. And I know he was at one of our recent meetings, so I just kind of wanted to do a moment of silence. I kind of was going to do it at the roll call and all that, but it didn't fit in there. So I just want to have everybody think about James and his contributions to the commission, and just do a moment of silence if we could. All right, thank you.
Thank you for that. Is there a way, if this happens again, that you can maybe notify?
Yes, if we have information about the family, so we can, if you want to send a card or
even notify the board, because I had no idea.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll get you the family's contact information. I think they would appreciate a note. Okay, we'll get you that.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Coe. I'd like a little more information about Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, this is Gretchen. I'm shocked. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to visualize where he sat. And
I know he was more into the theater arts, as he came and presented to the council and talked about wanting to serve on various commissions, and the council appointed him to this commission. And unfortunately, we took our own hiatus because of the COVID, and I'm not sure the circumstances of his passing, but we'll get you some more information and get that to you.
Yeah, I'd like to know, why he died.
Okay,
And-
we'll
and,
see what we can do if
you know,
that's okay with,
particularly if it was COVID-19.
we'll see what the families respect their wishes, but we'll
Absolutely.
see what goes on.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, thank you for letting us know. I too am taken aback and just want to give my condolences to the family. So I appreciate you for notifying the committee.
Okay, yeah, we'll get you the contact information from the family, and I think they're open to getting a note or a card or something.
That would be great.
And then, again, unfortunately, but the council is going through that process to appoint commissioners in October. So right now, that process is open. So if there are people in the community that you know of that are trying to remember if we limited it, I guess it is city residents. So if you know of someone who lives in the community, has an interest and a background in the arts, they can go to the city website, and it's an online application.
This is Commissioner.
So that happens
Coe.
in October. I think it happens like back to back, and usually gets wrapped up. So now is the time for people to apply.
This is Commissioner Coe. I live outside the boundary, but I live in the county island.
Okay.
Just,
They made some exceptions or
Mountain
something?
I think there-
Vista, Mountain View.
Yeah, Commissioner Coe's right. I think there is a certain amount that can be city residents and county. And that's all on the website, I believe. If, I think Jennifer,
Yeah.
is Jennifer facilitating that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So anybody can call the city clerk's office for more information on applications or go online. I think it's online already.
Yep.
Sydney, anything? Any other?
Thank you for both of those announcements.
Say that again?
This is Commissioner Ham. Thank you for both of those announcements. I didn't get to say anything earlier after you mentioned Commissioner Jackson's passing, and that just very sudden, and sorry to hear that.
Yes.
Thank you.
I also want to give an update. In our last meeting, we spoke about having a specific public arts logo. Matt McNulty is working on that. I received an update from him this week. He's trying to boil it down to a few examples which he could present at our next meeting, and then receive your input. So that is the goal. At our next meeting, we'll discuss the logo update then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have an update at all on the dog park?
Well, yeah, Sydney can do that,
Okay.
but it's more going to be for a future agenda item is really. So when we get to the item number 12 and talk about future agenda items, Liz Langenbach is out of town today, so
Okay.
she would have been here tonight. So
So we'll just add it on to the,
some of the items that you talked about having for future items will be on. That's one of them. Sydney, if you want to clarify or
All right.
add to that, or.
that's fine. Okay. So let's go on then to item number 12, call for future agenda items. Does anybody of the board members would like to add an item to the next meeting agenda? Right, other than the dog park, correct, Liz? And do I have?
And then in the work plan,
Pardon?
sorry, this is Ryan Bies. In the work plan, it noted, let me see, the monthly financial report, that it would be available during the August commission meeting. Since it wasn't an agenda item, I'd like to just make that a future agenda item going forward.
Commissioner Bies, are you talking about it as a monthly report or just the next meeting?
Well, so the work plan notes that it's a monthly financial report.
Okay.
So my request would be that we could have a monthly update.
Commissioner Vise, we could do that, no problem.
Any other items? Okay. It looks like the next meeting, proposed meeting, is at 6 p.m. on Monday, September 14th, 2020, in the City Council chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard in Apache Junction. May I have a motion to accept that meeting date?
Actually, if I may,
Mhm.
Larry, you can assist me, I think. I believe that's a council meeting night, September 14th. So if you have a meeting, you can still have your meeting at 6. But guess what? You're probably going to be bumped out of here at 7.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
So one option would be to do it at 5:30 instead of 6, if that works for people, or if they're working, it might not be able to make it. So we could just have the same date, but move it up to 5:30. Does anybody have a problem with 5:30 meeting on the phone?
I don't, and we usually aren't going to have a long agenda anyway, so.
So you want to keep it at 6?
Member?
I'm open to whatever time is available, and I'll make it known now. I will plan on attending in person. This is Commissioner Ham.
Thank you, Commissioner Ham.
I would just as soon make it at 5:30 if we could, just so we're out of here.
I agree.
Just to, yeah, just so we're not rushed or anything else.
Okay, the proposed meeting time is going to be 5:30 p.m. on Monday, September 14th, 2020, in the City Council chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard, Apache Junction. So may I have a motion to accept that meeting time and date?
I make a motion to accept that meeting time and date. This is Gretchen.
This is Commissioner Ham. I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Chair Bice,
Yes, 5:30 works fine for me.
Commissioner Coe,
Fine.
Commissioner Ham,
Yes.
Commissioner Klett,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicholas,
Yes.
Chair Steinberger,
Yes,
all in favor, Madam Chair. Motion carries.
thank you. Adjournment. This meeting of the Apache Junction Public Arts Commission is adjourned at 6:52.